What's up internet people and welcome to CarStats. The hot hatch category will not find enough buyers in the Indian market today. I think that's a bygone era. It has sort of been replaced by what we know as the compact SUV or a micro SUV, which is basically a glorified hatchback which is nimble and peppy and also can deal with less than poor road conditions. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a typical CarStats style technical comparison in which I'll be comparing the solidly built Tata Punch and the 2024 Nissan Magnite. So share this video with someone considering buying one of these cars because I'll be comparing them on a whole host of parameters to give you all both the on-road price as well as a CarStats on-road score. And like always, I'll be telling you all which one of these two cars I'd put my money on. The Magnite was literally the car that saved Nissan from shutting shop in India. It was launched in 2020 aiming to capture the budget-conscious segment and debuted with two petrol engines, a 1-litre naturally aspirated and a 1-litre turbocharged engine which came with manual AMT and CVT transmissions. It was one of the first cars in its segment to have wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and because it was such a small nimble car with a good list of features, the car did really well and saved Nissan, which was on the brink. The 1-litre turbo petrol is apparently a lot of fun to drive and the CVT is phenomenally good, and this I think gets it really close to being a hot hatch replacement. The Tata Punch launched in October 2021, a full year after the Magnite was launched, and it debuted with a 1.2-litre Revotron petrol engine, which had both a manual and an AMT transmission. This engine gearbox combo is still in the 2024 Punch and it's the only engine available. Built on Tata's Alpha Arc platform, the Punch is a 5-star NCAP rated car. Its SUV-like design, butch looks and ground clearance makes it fun to drive, but not hot hatch fun. I've driven this car once on a road trip to Ooty and it does lose a bit steam in the hills, and you do definitely feel the lack of a turbocharger. Before starting off this technical comparison, I'd like to ask you all to please subscribe to the CarStats channel because I'm really close to the 1000 subscribers mark and this is going to take me a very long way. And more importantly, please let me know in the comments which 2 cars or 3 cars you'd want me to review, and I'll do my best. And let's start off this technical comparison by talking about exterior design. Both these cars are under 4 meters in length. Apart from the height, the Magnite is the larger vehicle. It's longer, wider and has the longer wheelbase too. This translates to a more proportionally shaped silhouette compared to the tall boy stance of the Tata Punch. Sure, the Punch does look sharp, big and more SUV-like, but I do prefer the styling on the Magnite, especially in the 2024 version. The cladding is well done and I really like the sleek design philosophy. It also does look more elegant than the Punch, so when it comes to exterior design, the Nissan wins this point. However, looks are subjective and this is totally my opinion. On the inside, the Magnite is more comfortable. It's roomier and sits lower so you don't have to worry about the headroom. However, the Punch offers the better headroom. To put it simply, the Punch is a great car for 2 people and an okay car for 4 people, whereas the Magnite can comfortably seat 4 while also feeling quite roomy. But the drawback with the Magnite's rear seat is that you sit very, and I mean very slightly knees up. It isn't punishing though, and this may only be the case for taller passengers. And yes, taller passengers are not gonna like the legroom on the Tata Punch. It is barely enough to seat someone over 5'10". Both these cars have modern and well-made interiors, and even the Nissan's interiors with this update is apparently better put together now. I watched what the reviewers had to say and they say it has improved both in terms of fit and finish and NVH levels, and that should put things on par with the Punch. The new dashboard and interior color scheme on the Nissan Magnite looks a lot of fun, but it isn't my cup of tea. I'm very tempted to give both these cars 1 point each, but I think that would be a bit unfair, because the Magnite's interiors are simply more fun, roomier and more comfortable, and because of this, I'm going to give this point to the Nissan Magnite. Let's now discuss practicality by comparing the boot space and ground clearance figures. When it comes to ground clearance, the Nissan has the upper hand with 205 mm compared to 187 on the Tata Punch. However, the story changes when we are talking about boot space because the Nissan Magnite gets a decent 336 liters, whereas the Tata Punch gets a larger 366 liters. Moving into the color options. Now the monotone color options on the Nissan Magnite are Blade Silver, Sunrise Copper Orange, Flare Garnet Red, Onyx Black, Pearl White and Vivid Blue. And if you want the dual tone colors, you get the same colors with an Onyx Black roof, and so there is no black dual tone color option. With the Punch, the monotone options are Tropical Mist, Daytona Grey, Orcus White, Calypso Red, Meteor Bronze and Foliage Green. Whereas the dual tone options are Tornado Blue with white roof, Calypso Red with white roof, Tropical Mist with a black roof, Daytona Grey with a black roof and Orcus White with a black roof. You also have the option of a Punch Camo Edition which comes with a seaweed green paint job and a white roof, but there is no black or dark edition yet. So if you fancy a black car, the Magnite will tick that box for you. Talking about safety, the Nissan Magnite gets 6 airbags as standard across all variants, and the Tata Punch, I was shocked too. Just 2 airbags. This is not very typical of Tata, but to cut it some slack, it is a 5-star rated car, whereas the Nissan Magnite is a 4-star rated car. I'll have to give both these cars 1 point each when it comes to safety, but personally, I wouldn't mind having a 4-star rated car if it performs substantially better when it comes to other parameters. And this is because NCAP tests are conducted at 64 km per hour for a head-on collision, and anything beyond that is still a question mark. Let's now see how these cars compare when it comes to features. This is, however, a non-exhaustive list of features on both the cars, and the features mentioned are variant specific. To help you better understand features across variants, I'll be leaving the links of the brochures to both these cars in the video description. The common features in these two cars, and in the top trims of these two cars, are a cooled glove box, hill start assist, cruise control, a traction mode to prevent wheel slip in wet conditions, LED projector headlamps, R16 diamond cut alloy wheels, wireless charger, digital instrument cluster and a 9-inch on the Magnite versus a 10.24-inch touchscreen on the Punch, both of which get wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. And in this slide is a list of exclusive features amongst these cars. Feel free to pause this section to go through it in more detail. So overall, both these cars are pretty well decked with features, and each of them have extra exclusive features amongst themselves. So I'm forced to give both of them 1 point each. Let's now do the important and exciting price and drivetrain comparison. See, the limited scope of this video is that I'll be comparing only the petrol versions of these cars. The Nissan is petrol only, whereas the Punch is also available with an electric and a CNG drivetrain. Obviously, the Punch is a more versatile product which has more to offer, but anyways, let's get on to comparing these petrol engines. Here I've compared base variants of each engine and gearbox combo, and see, this table makes things quite obvious. If you want a manual petrol engine, the Tata Punch is the better offer. For like 30,000 bucks extra, you get more horsepower and more torque and apparently better fuel efficiency too. But besides that, the landscape is different. The automatic Magnite is nearly 3 lakhs cheaper than an automatic Punch, and the base turbo manual Magnite is very marginally more expensive than a naturally aspirated Punch AMT. And that incredibly fun combination of a turbo petrol and a counterintuitively quick CVT Magnite is all yours for 11.72 lakhs. So basically, the only Magnite you should be getting is the turbo version. That is, if you want the best value. Yes, the Magnite is extremely good value for money, while also giving you the option of a turbo petrol and a CVT. The Tata Punch though, and I have mentioned it before, I really feel the lack of a turbo in it. It simply loses steam on the hairpin bends, and because of this, I'm going to give this point to the Nissan Magnite. Now that we've concluded this technical comparison, and I know some of y'all are going to hate me for saying this, the Nissan Magnite gets the higher score. I mean, it is the technically better product. The Magnite Petrol is the more versatile car, and it is the car that I'd put my money on. And here are the reasons why. Firstly, it's because I've heard great stuff about the Turbo CVT variant, and I'm happy to trade off more luggage space for better rear seat legroom. Plus, the Magnite is the car with the better ground clearance. Plus, and this is a big plus, it is the better looking car of the two. It is simply more stylish and elegant looking. It is more polished, and I'm not a very big fan of the punches tall boy stance. However, what would y'all do? Which one would you go for? Let me know in the comments below. And also let me know if with the 2024 facelift, would you go for the Magnite or would you still prefer the Renault Kiger, which is technically the same car? Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Also, please subscribe to the channel, help me get to 1,000 subs, and also please feel free to criticize me or interact with me in the comments section below, and I'll see y'all next week.